All right, all right. Hey, welcome to another episode of Dreams Podcast. My name is Scott Coleman. I'm with my beautiful co-host, Jackie Mitchell. He's a beautiful individual. That's why I call him that. And hey, we got a special guest on today that really embodies what Dreams is all about, right? If for you guys who don't know, the acronyms are discipline, respect, education, accountability, maturation, and success. And so this individual we get ready to introduce, name is Emmanuel Arceneaux. Once he became a superstar, it came to Manny. So it's two individuals, and this is a special show for me because I got to see this guy grow up from a young kid and develop discipline, respect, right? Education, went and got a college degree, accountability because he showed up every day, and in the maturation of him becoming a man. I think it's soon to be a CFL Hall of Famer, or almost 10,000 yards receiving. Just a one hell of an individual, man. And from me to you, we want to give you your flowers. I'm extremely proud of you. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Emmanuel Arceneaux in the house, man. We should have some confetti dropping down, huh?
I know it, man. Listen, I'll sprinkle some, my man. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate that 100%.
Yeah. I mean, I was looking at something, just doing a bit. I mean, I knew your history obviously because I've followed you, your whole career. But zero offers coming out of high school. So coming out of a small city like Alexandria, obviously it's not many people make it out of there. It can kind of become like a black hole, so to speak. It's a beautiful city, but let's just be real. There's not a lot of growth there. All right. So obviously, from me to you, I commend you for what you were faced with, and to still make it out, man. You'll inspire a lot of kids and a lot of individuals coming out of there. But you know what? Let's get into it, man. My co-host Jackie Mitchell and Emmanuel Arceneaux here. You guys have something in common that you probably don't know about. And Jackie, y'all got something in common. And here's the thing. I believe the year was 2000. You start, was it 2009, I believe, when you got your call, or 2010, Manny? When you came from BC to BC.
Yeah, 2009 was my first year.
Yeah, 2009. That's what I said. 2009. You get a call from Mr. Roy Shivers.
Yeah.
So years prior to that, about, I guess, around what was yours? 2000. So 9 years prior, Jackie Mitchell got a call from Mr. Roy Shivers. Who gave him his first opportunity. So you guys have that in common, man, and to come full circle like that, and just to show you how many lives that, Roy's touched, it's absolutely amazing, man. So tell me about that, man. Let's start it off with that,
check this out. This is the crazy part. So look, like it's just crazy anyway when he talking about coming from Alex, zero offers, beautiful city, hard to come out. But what people don't know is I only played 6 varsity games. So if you look at my forearm, I got plates on both sides. I broke my arm on my birthday. So that was the 3rd game of the season. I came back against Ash, set my soft cast to a wristband and wore the forearm sleeve that the O-lineman used to wear. So I can protect it and play again. Played 3 more games. And we got to the playoffs. Peabody made the playoffs and lost to Dutchtown in the first round. But after that game, we would come in and clean up on Saturdays. We had a new coach by the name of Jules Sullen. And he was like, I want y'all to make a highlight tape, man, make some film to go to college. And we looking at him like, college? Man, what you talking about, coach? You finna go to college. Because in that, right. Because people around here, they're more so accustomed to, hey, you know what? I'm going to go work offshore. I'm going to go to Procter & Gamble. I'm gonna go over here to Marco Lumber, whatever that's called. I'm just gonna go get a regular job, and or the other route you can take, but that definitely wasn't for me anyway, because I ain't
Mm-hmm.
out here trying to hustle like that. So coach was like, make a highlight tape. And they got an almanac, man, with all the colleges in there. And he was like, I want you to make a highlight tape, send them to all the HBCUs that's around. So I remember that Saturday we come in, make a little highlight tape on VHS. I sent it out there to Grambling, Southern, Alcorn, Jackson State, Mississippi Valley. So I mailed all those tapes off on that Saturday, made it Saturday. I mailed them all off on Monday. Alcorn got my tape on Wednesday. It arrived. They called the school and said, we would like Emmanuel Arceneaux to come down here for the game versus Southern. That was that Saturday night, like a visit. My mom didn't have a car. So Coach Brown, that was a volunteer, drove me to Alcorn down there. So you look, Saturday we played a game. Monday, I mailed off the tapes. Wednesday, they got it. Friday, I received a call. I caught a ride from a guest coach because my mom ain't have a vehicle. That Saturday night, I signed a full scholarship to Alcorn. So like
That's
that
beautiful,
that
bro.
that's how
That's
college
beautiful,
happened
man.
for me. But you got to think, 8th grade to the 11th grade, I didn't make the team. Like I was out there trying to be a kicker my junior year with Coach Rachel. Like 5th block, I was going
Yeah.
home conditioning pit bulls or ending up over there at Platinum Styles Barbershop. Like we was on the Madden, 8th
Mm-hmm.
Street on the Madden. Like
Yeah.
it's just crazy because where the guidance lacked and all the decisions I could have made, I didn't. And that's what helped me now, having the family looking back at it, where I can
Mm-hmm.
say, okay, I'm out the hood, grew up in it. That's all I know. But you're really not a product of your environment. You're a product of the decisions that you choose to make. Because if anybody was to ever see my story, the last thing we should be talking about is football right now. Because you got to look
Yeah.
at it. I have, like, seriously, my sister,
Yeah.
she went left. My sister on drugs. My niece, they on drugs. My mom's still in Alexandria. So
Mm-hmm.
that was the crazy part of how my journey started to getting a scholarship. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
once I got the Alcorn, my mom came down there one time. And that was when I graduated. Spring, what that was, 2009 in May. She handed me an envelope. That was a contract to go to the BC Lions training camp. So what happened is when Roy don't wanted to work me out, I was running the SWAC championship at Texas Southern in the rain. So I didn't work out for him in person or the BC Lions. They took a chance on me, sent me a contract. My mom handed it to me at my graduation. I remember having to go to New Orleans to expedite the passport process because I couldn't do it in Mississippi at the time. So when I got to Canada, in camp was my first time seeing Roy. So they signed me off of the same little highlight tape that was made. I put my track highlights from indoor and all that on there, and they took a chance on me. And I remember showing up to BC in 2009, and they gave me number 74. And I'm like, man, they finna send me home. So that was my first encounter now with Roy coming out that way. And it was just one of those ones when I met him, he got to talking to me. He was like, yeah, I got Jason Jones that was at Pine Bluff at the time a couple years before me. And he always speak on how he would find guys and bring them up to Canada that can play. And I remember, man, I was in camp. You know how you do the inter squad scrimmages. Man, I was behind what Corey Rogers from TCU, I think got drafted by Green Bay. They had Jarrell Banks at the time from LSU. They brought in all these big name guys, but it was vets that got hurt the year before, fighting to come back and still be there. So you got to look at G-Roy was still there, Paris Jackson, Ryan Grice Mullen. Like they brought in Terrence Scott from Oregon. That was a returner slash receiver. They brought in everybody. If it was 19 receivers, I was 19 on the depth chart. Like, it's just a story of how adversity and what you're gonna do to make a name for yourself. So I remember, man, I was in camp the first week or whatnot. I had a bunch of calling cards, a little palm trio at the time. I ain't know what I was doing. My first week of camp, no lie, I got no reps. all I did was one-on-ones. So if the first group got 3 reps, the second group got 2, the third group and the extras got 1. If I got Corey Rogers and Jarrell Banks them fighting for reps and want extra ones, guess who miss it? The young guy. So I would miss my reps because Vet's trying to make the team again. So I remember after practice, I would just stay and do one-on-ones. And we was in Abbotsford College in Abbotsford. We was at a little private school, college out that way using it. So I remember I got my chance, man. We was doing the scrimmage. They threw me a flat route. Man, I must have caught the ball 5 yards out of bounds. But the safety kept playing, and I outran the safety's angle. And Roy was like, did you see that? Who is this kid? Oh, that's the one we brought from Alcorn State. Arceneaux. Man, that kid can go. Hey, come here. And right where you know, right there I played, what was that position? It was W, too strong at the time. Corey Rogers, that's when he got replaced. Corey took me under his wing, was around. Everywhere he went, we went together, took me under his wing. And I remember Cato, man, rest in peace, Cato. He said, hey, youngster, you want number 18? I was like, I can't wear number 18. That's Rogers' number. Nah, they sending him home. They gonna keep you. Cato gave me the heads up way ahead of time. And I was like, man, you know what? Corey, my dog, he from Houston. He took me under his wing. You know what? Give me number 84. But it was just one of them ones that's crazy, like just the story of me getting to where I'm at. Like most people would think he was a 4-star recruit. He had offers out the butt. He played 14 years. How do you play 14 years? What big college did he go to? But football chose me. I did not choose it. And it's crazy. Like when Scott, man, you look at people, they'd be like, who was the inspiration or who showed you the game? It was like, well, outside my mom coming to football, Scott would work out in Alexandria. Like I had no clue who Scott was. Like, hey, what this guy coming in, workout clothes, jumping on the mat and doing what it is. But it's like, hey, man, let's go to the field, run some routes. Hey, man, let's go get a lift in. And it's crazy. I look back, like we on the call now on the podcast is 2024 right now.
24.
You're like, and it's 20 something years ago. And it's like, man, whoever would have thought, you know what? If he stick with it, you know what? He gonna make it. You get what I'm saying? Like how the world just shrunk, man. But it's just one of those ones. Like by me making it out, it really was by the grace of God. Cause all I did was grind, work at the second to none. And my whole mentality is you will not outwork me. And I kind of had to hold up to that till now. Got the Alcorn, 17 receivers. I'm number 17 on the depth chart. I started all 4 years. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm finna show you better than I can tell you. And that kind of been a story of just my whole life. Setbacks came. The ACLs, the broken hand, not missing a game, AC joint sprain, not missing a game, high ankles. But it's like, you're going to have to, look, I'm going to tape it up, wrap it up, but you really was going to have to carry me off the field for me not to play. Like, I played with a torn ACL and meniscus, 2014. Like, it was just one of those things, man. But yeah, it was crazy. So that's how my encounter with Roy, when you say that call, it was an envelope. I couldn't take his call because I was running the 4x4 and doing the decathlon. So they really took a chance on me. And Wally said they will never sign a guy that they do not work out in person and bring him to camp.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just to intervene in there, 2 things. I remember I was in Las Vegas, 2009, and a friend of mine was working out, Ronald McClendon and Goldie. He was working out at that workout. And so we just happened to be in Vegas at the same time, and I went to go see it. I'm sitting there watching, and then, you know, I'm talking to, I had met Roy, I think, like one other time. And so I went over, started talking to him. And he was like, yeah, I remember. He said, what school you went to? I said, Southern. He was like, oh, we just signed a dude out of the SWAC. And I'm like, who? He said, Emmanuel Arceneaux. I was like, man, for real. And you know, and I had told Edmonton about Emmanuel. I had told Winnipeg, because Mike Kelly was the head coach, but they all wouldn't sign him unless they worked him out. And so I was like, you know, I'm going to rewind a little bit here. I remember when, I kind of got word he was Emmanuel was back in town, and I and he had aspirations to play professional football. And I would say 95% of guys at that time that said they wanted to play professional football, and I bring them to work out with me, I would break them. Yeah, I start going and here's the thing: I'm never going to tell you to do something that I don't do. I would just put them through my workout, and most guys
Yeah.
couldn't do it; they would break. And so the thing that impressed me about Emmanuel is like he wouldn't break at that time. He was always in shape, but he hadn't turned into the workout guru he turned into. And I could see he was starting to fatigue, but he wouldn't go quit. He wouldn't quit. He was booming. I was like, okay, he got some dog in him. Okay. And so from there, I began to start, I started just making some calls, any contacts. Because I know John Snyder, who's the general manager for the Seahawks now, he was in Green Bay. I had talked to him and a couple other guys. Because, I think, and all three of us can speak about this, if we're going to put our name on the line, it's got to be somebody that we trust and it's going to represent. And so I was like, and that's where that's what that was about. When I brought him out there on that field at Ash High School, I said, meet me at Ash at 12 o'clock. I'll never forget. So meet me at Ash at 12 o'clock. And I was impressed just with the grit and determination, man. And I guess, and before I know Jackie got a couple questions to ask, I just want to know, when your mom handed you that envelope, obviously it wasn't a phone call. What was going through your head at that time to know now I got an opportunity to play professional football? What's going through your head?
Oh man, I'm about to take this and run with it. But first I was like, where Canada at anyway? Where this place supposed to be? Like like I left Alcorn, I left Peabody, went straight to Alcorn. I'm like, come on now I'm about to head to Canada. I need a passport and all this and that. But it was like, man, everything happened for a reason. And it's just crazy because the route you pave, you got to think, I took Jalen Richard under my wing the same way. You see what I'm saying? He went off to USM, went to play with the Raiders, man, and did this thing. In every locker room that I came across, I was there, Scott Cloman, for 4, 5, 6 grown adults. Like, I'm not talking little boys, grown men, families, but it was like what Scott showed me, man, is what I received from as soon as I stepped foot in the pro game, whether that was Corey that took me on this wing. My first Adrian Peterson, when I get with the Vikings, I'm working out in Houston, took me under his wing. Devin Aromas to do. Fred Evans, I still keep in touch with this day. Getting out there to Washington for the 8, 9 weeks, I'm out there with Pierre and Fred, the tight end, and these guys, man. I was always in a room with vets that was like, let me get this young fella the game. And when I seen it takes nothing away from you to give the next man the game, because if you really buy next man up, you ain't insecure about your job getting taken. And that's what it is now. People are afraid to give somebody else the game because they in it for themselves. But like meeting a Scott back in the day was really that we over me. Like he didn't have to do what he did, you know what I'm saying? But what he did made it like the way how it is still today. Like, man, you know what? I gotta help. I gotta show somebody what it takes. Like, I just can't tell you. I have to show you. And that's how it was with Scott. He wasn't just a mentor. It was like, hey, he's still strapping on the cleats, putting in his work too. You see what I'm saying? And it's like now I'm just basically the baby version, a younger version of a Scott, except I'm just not in Canada. I'm down here, but it's similar paths. You know what? We can still line up, catch a ball, run. Person to look at you and say, do you still play? Or you still can play, but it's like, now I'm giving these cats the game, man, and just being authentic. But hey, what we work is what's going to happen in game. I ain't out here trying to trick you, finesse you, lie to you. And if there's any call I can make or text I can make, you know what? I'm going to put my neck out on the line for you because you done showed me that you kind of really wanted it. But yeah, man, it was just one of them thoughts of like, man, I got an opportunity, man, that's going to make a huge impact. because what I'm doing is already some 1% stuff. First one to go to college. You see what I'm saying? First one to do everything. So I'm like, hey, this part of my journey, and I can't put this to waste because I know one thing, I'm not coming back home. And that was my mindset when I got there. And every day, I just had to keep stacking them blades of grass. And I got to, hey, I'm going to make your decision hard, Wally, Neil McEvoy, all y'all guys that's up here. I'm finna make it hard. And you finna remember this kid in number 74.
That's solid,
I'll let you
man.
take it over.
That's solid. Hey, man, you know, it's crazy because Scott, I get emotional about stuff, you know what I'm saying? I'm an emotional person, you know, but
Yeah,
to hear, man, I just take my hat off to you. I commend you because, like you said, it's the journey. It's about the journey, man. And such as you, I have Scott's friendship as a brother, but it's the little things like you spoke about. You know what I'm saying? Because that was one of the things that me and Scott, Iron Sharpens Iron, we used to work out in college, man, and it was some of the best. And I'm not saying it's because he's here, but it was some of the best workouts that we could have because it was like he's trying to get better, I'm trying to get better, and I felt at that time I was the top at my position, and even though he didn't know he was the top of his position, but like you said, didn't play a lot. You know what I'm saying? But took advantage of every opportunity. So I totally understand that. And even with Roy, man, Roy was like a mentor for me. Like Scott touched on, man, I got that call because I went to Edmonton first, and
yeah,
I got hurt in preseason, playing well. And Fred Bailey made a call to Roy, and Roy was like, "What number were you?" I was like, "I don't remember what number I was." I was like,
10, number 10.
10. I was like, "I'm number 10." He was like, "I'll call you back." 35, 40 minutes later, he called me back. He said, "I have you on the first thing smoking tomorrow." So that's how it happened for me. That's how I got in Saskatchewan, and it was one of the best decisions I made because, like you said, he believed in me. He saw my talent, and he, I don't care what anyone says, he's given so many people an opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And that platform, I'm forever grateful for that. You know, my original was Paul Jones. That's how I got there. You know, Paul looked out for me, signed me. Someone like you, I didn't have to work out, signed me on my recognition of what I did in college, man. So my hat's off to you and just keep blazing that trail, man. And as we move forward, my question is, talk about a few things you touched on, you know, this young man on the phone.
yeah,
Yeah. You know, but talk about a few people that inspired you to make it out and allows you to be successful where, as you say, it's we over me. Because that's a huge statement
man,
you made. And a lot of people don't understand that.
man, Reverend Dupont, pastor that did the youth sports, Coach Franklin, that was my pitching machine coach. First one that put me in sports back home in the hood. Started with that pitching machine. Man, Dwayne Dupont, that was my barber slash big brother, cousin, however you want to label it. I always looked out. Man, my cats off 15th Street, you know, everybody that was around that just saw fit that, hey, Emmanuel gonna be all right. We're gonna make sure Emmanuel straight. And you know, just they all played a major role in it, but a lot of my partners too, even though they probably went a different route, they played a major role in it by showing me the things of what not to do and learning how to make decisions and think for myself. Coach Sullen, that gave me my very first opportunity, you know, to be able to play and make it to college. Then Coach Willie Davis and Coach Celestine for not giving me that opportunity. And me having to be like, you know what, I'm going to show y'all I'm going to amount to something, you know, because when they wrote me off, it could have been the end, you know, but I'm thankful for them because that's what taught me what adversity and what find a way, not an excuse, meant at the age of whatever I was, 12 or 13. You get what I'm saying? But man, Rev, Coach Franklin, Dwayne, Coach Sullen, man, Olin, one of my classmates I had. Man, it's a list of people that just from that high school journey, when I got to the pros, it's the Wally Bonos, the Roy Shivers, Coach George Stewart, my receiver coach from the Vikings. Um, Man, Coach Clint that I had from the Frisco Fighters. Then I look back at it coming, having Jarius Jackson, that was my quarterback that became my OC. Coach Howell, Coach Travis Moore, guys that kept me in the league, man. probably when people thought I should have been done 5, 6, 7 years ago. You know, Coach Jones, man, he gave me that opportunity to come back again. G. Roy Simon, I was able to replace him in BC. He became my general manager. Like those type of guys, man, that gave me opportunity after opportunity, and they had it their way. I'd probably still be playing right now, you know, just because they know what type of person I am. And I played the game, man, with so much integrity and just stayed so true to it. And I think that's why God blessed me to play so long, because it was always about the game, never about me. And I didn't realize how good I was and all these things that I stacked up over the years till I retired. They was like, hey, Manny, hey, one more catch. That's 167 games in a row. Hey, you just passed Jim Young in yards. Hey, man, you're number 3 all time in BC Lions. Did you know you're now top 30? Hey, man, you top 20. Hey, you're all decade. And I'm like, huh? Like, I never really thought about that, or I'm at a function here. And it was like, man, you know that Tom Pate award you got? I'm in Vancouver doing my hockey camp. That award, winning the Tom Pate, is probably bigger than any Grey Cup or anything you can get, because it showed what type of person you are in the community. Chaser's Juice supplied the kids with juice. But I'm like, Miss Jill, I'm like, I never really thought about it like that, because my thing is who I got to beat out for a job this year. And I got to show them that age ain't nothing but a number, that I never really thought about my stats and the things that I've done, because I'm so into, man, let me compete. I don't care what my contract is, this or that. As long as they're direct deposit, my bills paid, I'm out here to impose my will on somebody. And for me, it started in practice. Like, man, I'm finna go out here and compete. Like, that's what I love, was to compete. Like, hey, it's either you or me, but one of us. Hey, we can't look. It's only
Both can't
one
make
spot,
it, Doc.
it
right?
ain't gonna be me.
And that's been my mindset. If you was the best, you would
Absolutely.
reach out to the TJ Lees, the Luchez Parafours, Moncriefs, the anybody, Dante Marsh, Ryan Phillips, that's a D coordinator right now. Billy Parker's, the Chip Cox, Dave Sanchez, you name any of them, that was my teammate that had to practice with me. That's exactly how I played, was how I practiced. Like, there's no turn it on game day. It was like, man, you kind of go too hard in practice, man, because my job can be taken the day I take it
Yeah,
for granted.
Absolutely.
Like,
yeah, you do.
like, like,
Absolutely.
like, like, that's why I lift how I lift. I grind how I grind, because I play a game way before the game is played. So when it comes game day, man, I don't mind sacrificing my body, because I know what I put it throughout the week to be ready for game day. And that's why I'm surprised I lasted as long as I lasted, because people say receiver, but I really was a hybrid tight end. I was part of the box, part of the pass pro, bomber blocking, crackbacking on 300-pound DNs 4, 5, 6 times. Hell, I was doing it at the age of 36. Looking back at last season, like in
Yeah.
the box, but yeah, man, it's just, man, I think I was just blessed, man, like blessed and highly favored. And if ever somebody say what lucky look like, man, I guess it's me. Because what
Yeah.
football gave me, man, it gave me a whole lot. And it just changed my perspective on everything.
Yeah. And you know the thing is, a wise man once told me, you don't get what you want, you get what you deserve. And that's why
Yeah.
you accumulated all those great accolades, because you deserved it, because you put in the work, right? It was, before I move on to my next question, I gotta give a shout out to Coach George Stewart, man. He coached me with the 49ers. One hell
Yeah.
of a guy, man. I'm talking about, yeah, yeah. I get emotional just thinking about that dude, man. I was an undrafted, I'm, free agent, and he just always just showed me love. You know what I mean? And it's just, yeah, he's just a good dude. Good dude. I wonder where he is now, actually.
Man, I text Coach Stu probably a month or two ago. I think if is he in Georgia, might be, but all I know he doing well and he alive. So that was the biggest
Yeah,
thing. So every
yeah,
blue
yeah.
moon, I shoot
Yeah.
them a text out the blue, man. Les Pico, all
Yep.
those guys, man. I just try
Mm-hmm.
to stay in touch because you never know.
No. Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
never know, man. Like,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
like once you transition from the game, just them saying one word on behalf of your name can create an opportunity, man.
Yeah.
So I just try to
Mm-hmm.
keep in touch with a lot of those folks, and they made my experience in the NFL probably one of the best. Having a
Mm-hmm.
Coach Stewart,
Oh yeah.
having a Les Pico, and then being in the locker room with some solid
Mm-hmm.
individuals, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. I tell people that all the time, man. A part of a young guy's success is the type of veterans he's around. When you get around guys who show you the game and show you how to take care of your body. I know this show, it's all about you, but I gotta share just how, my rookie year in 2000, Andre Rison took me under his wing and
yeah,
and helped me. And I remember James Hasty, we used to call him the Beast, the corner. Man, this dude was about 6'1", about 215. Used to just mash people on the line. One of a great press corner, and man, I remember, man, I came off the field one day and I'm just, I'm sore. He was like, and he said, "Young buck, what's wrong with you, man?" I said, "Man, I'm hurt. So you better get in this ice tub." He said,
yeah,
he said Marcus Allen, because Marcus Allen played running back for KC for all of you. He said Marcus Allen played 17 years in the NFL. He got in the ice bath. He took an ice bath after every practice and after every game. He said, and I was like, and I'm thinking, I'm 21, right? So I'm like, man, I'm thinking I don't need to get in the ice bath.
yeah,
So I said, but I was hurting. I said, let me try this. Hey, 10 years of professional football, I never missed a day. Hey, I got out. Hey, the next morning, I was like, man, I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
yeah,
I was in there every day, man. And, when I got to San Francisco, Terrell Owens, that changed everything. When he showed me how to take care of my body, how to nutrition, that changed. That was a game changer. So I think that's why I'm so passionate about, passing on, knowledge to other guys, if I can, because it's just so many people help me. And there's no way I would have, accomplished what I accomplished without people helping me. So it's,
You mentioned T.O. You made me think
mm,
of Nate Singleton from New Orleans, man. I think he was I think he played with the Niners, man. Was
it did.
that Nate Singleton? He might have been the number 3, number 4 guy, so you really ain't hear too much about him. But
Mm-hmm,
he was down in New Orleans. I worked with him a little bit, but that's who you made me think about, Nate, man.
mm-hmm,
Nate, solid guy, but like all these guys got something in common, man, when it comes just to the aspect of hard work. And that's what these
mm-hmm,
young cats can't skip. And it's
mm-hmm,
going to cost you something. Like you
mm-hmm,
say, man, I'm 21, this ice bath, man, you know what it's going to cost you? It's going to cost
mm-hmm,
you a little time and getting comfortable being uncomfortable. But everybody think, man, we got this instant oatmeal success that's going to come. Put it in the microwave, boom, bing, I got it
mm-hmm,
just how I want it. But man, success, man, it's gonna always cost you something, but it's what you're willing to give to
mm-hmm,
achieve it. And you don't know what that might be. It can be
mm-hmm,
physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally.
mm-hmm,
Like you're gonna have
mm-hmm,
to give something. And it's one of
mm-hmm,
those distractions you're gonna have to starve. So it's like if this something you really want,
mm-hmm.
you're gonna make your mind up to get it. But it's like,
Oh
what are
yeah.
you willing to pay to
Mm-hmm,
achieve it? So and that's the
mm-hmm,
crazy part, man.
mm-hmm. And before I go to my next question here, like it's not what you're capable of, it's what you're willing to do,
Yeah.
right? It's what you're willing to do.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people capable, got
Yeah.
potential, but what are you willing to do, man? And
Do.
that's, I
Right.
mean, but moving along, and we won't keep you too much longer,
Oh
but
no, I'm straight,
obviously,
man. We having a
as
good talk right
Yeah,
here.
buddy.
but
Yeah.
Yeah.
just tell me this, man, because this is a tough one.
Yeah.
Because Jackie, for example, got married young, had a family young, all through his career. Me, I waited till after I was done. I think you're kind of in between us, and you're in the middle, right? So
Yeah.
that's yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yes. So tell me this: that what was it like adjusting to family life while playing professional football, and now, as you transition to life after football, how was that? How's
Man,
that
you
going
know
for you?
what? So, man, I started my family when I was 30 because I
Mm-hmm.
thought I was about to be done in 2018. Found out Deuce, that's my oldest, that's 6 now, was coming. So I was like, you know what? It's time for me to start my family, man. I done had my fun, doing what you
Mm-hmm.
do. And I was like, you know what? It's time to start the family now. Because anytime sooner than that, man, it wouldn't have worked. So I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, you know what? It's time to start the family, man. But like seeing my son born and then my wife, man, she really locked in. Like she had my back. And I think that was the biggest thing, man. The OG told me, man, it's easy to say, I want this bad chick, I want this, I want that. It's like, you know what? Find somebody you compatible with. When I look
Mm.
back at when she with the boys and she just asking me questions and things about ball, how I'm feeling, and now it all started to make sense because it's easy wanting that trophy, that trophy fish, that eye candy, but it's like find someone you're compatible with because in time things gonna change, but they have to understand you because like you different. And you know what? Seeing that how she accepted me for who I was then and how
Mm-hmm.
I am now, man, it
Mm-hmm.
means a whole lot. Was I perfect? Not at all.
Mm-hmm.
But we were compatible and she accepted me
Mm-hmm.
for who I was and who I am. And we always under construction. I don't care who you are. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's a day-to-day fight. It's a day-to-day
Yeah.
battle. And that's why
Mm-hmm.
you gotta win more than you lose every time you wake up. Because you're
Yeah.
not normal. You're different. You're bred to think different. You bred just to. So
Mm-hmm.
having my son, man, it was like, dang, bro, he gonna be able to watch me play. Like it's bigger than me now. I got another mouth to feed.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was love. But me having a kid in season, it was
Mm-hmm.
one of the ones I couldn't wait to go to training camp because I'm like, I don't have to change a diaper in the middle of the night. Like I was in camp. I was in camp on a whole nother gear. Cause you gotta think, man, I was working out at 4:30 in the morning. Like
Mm-hmm.
to knock my day out before my day started. I get to camp and you ain't gonna be up till 6 or 7. And I'm calling her knowing she up in the middle of the night and all this. And you knew they was gonna fly up there. But for me, camp was like recess. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was wired so much differently because it's like I was locked in. But it's like once you have that child or you provide for a family and you step into the sports world, it's no longer about you no more. You get what I'm saying? And now as I'm transitioning away, because I kept playing, I had
Mm-hmm.
son number 2. So now it's like, okay, I want Eli to be able to see me play. Like I got to do my thing because now that last name mean even more. Because
Yeah.
it's like, okay, you know what I'm saying? But it's
Mm-hmm.
still, my wife still held down the fort for me, man. And that was that compatible word meant a lot because are you going to agree on everything? No. And how we are is we here to it's gladiator mode, man. You ain't
Mm-hmm.
trying to hear all this other stuff. I'm training for the season. This is what I'm gonna do. I got 6 months to handle the business. Whatever you talking can wait. But I learned now, postseason, man, like post career, as it start to dwindle down, man. I need to be high as a CFL All Star. I need to be a all-star listener. Like I need to be an
Mm-hmm.
all-star observer. Like it ain't what she's saying. You know what I'm saying? So I'm starting to understand the game by just watching and like being in Mississippi now, like watching the things her dad and her mom and them do made me uncomfortable when we got together because she grew up off love. I was raised off survival. So I didn't
Mm-hmm.
understand the whole family at the dinner table and talking about how your day went and you ask me something, I'm like, man, what you want? Like, what happened? Like, she just want to hold a conversation. I'm thinking like, oh, I ain't did nothing. Like, what you talking about? We need to talk. Like, I'm telling her, you know what I'm saying? Like, we need to
I'm in
talk.
trouble.
Yeah, that's the worst thing you can tell the brother. We need to talk. For what? Like, yo, your whole mood, your whole mood changed. Somebody said, we need to talk. Man, what you mean? But but it's like now, man, as I done got older, it's like now, man, it's the little things. That's why I'm so big on dominate the details. Because if I can be so good on the field, so good with training, good with coaching people, man. It's like I gotta apply that to my marriage and my kids, man. So
Mm.
I need to be this doggone dominate the detail, all-star Hall of Fame father, and knowing that I didn't have one, that's what I try to present to my
Mm-hmm.
kids. Because if you look at it, games and this or that, Deuce was around. If I got some big meeting, my wife busy, my kids gonna be around. So if my
Mm.
kids can't come, I don't want to be a part of what you doing because I'm one of them people. I gotta have my kid around. And it's like for my wife, like she held down the fort, man, my whole playing career. Now it's her turn. You want to go do this real estate? Go do your real estate. You want to do this? Well, I'm gonna make sure the boy's good. Bring them with me. Now you got clients. I don't care. If my clients worry about my kids, they don't need to be with me. So it's like
Mm.
one of those ones, man, just complimenting one another, making things work, figuring it out together. And I know that's something that I've learned over the years as I've matured, man, is that whole teamwork really make the dream work. Early in my
Mm-hmm.
career, man, I wasn't trying to hear shit nobody had to say to me. Like, nah,
Mm-hmm.
because I figured I was invincible. If you want to leave, I'll find another one of you. And
Mm-hmm.
that was just my whole thought process. I'm going to get what I want. And
Mm-hmm.
and when I look back at it, man, I was like, bro, it's just crazy when this old head just taught me about the compatible part. And I was like, that's the one thing that's helping me stay where I'm at, stay grounded, having a conversation. It's like driving to Mississippi. We over here, open conversation, talking about whatever you decide to talk about, but
Mm-hmm.
being able to talk, being able to communicate, and you know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things, bro, that I pride myself on because you know sometimes as being a brother, that's the last thing they figure you can hold down is a relationship. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like I'm a 1%er now. You know
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Making
Yeah.
that, but it's just like, but that's what it
Yeah.
is, man. It's just one of those
Mm-hmm.
things I learned over the years, man. Being able to communicate and just really
Mm-hmm.
dominate the details, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that's the big part. And just knowing you got business that like you say, it ain't what you're capable of, it's what you're willing to do. And that
Mm-hmm.
aspect goes for everything, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So you're either gonna find a way or you're gonna find an excuse. And sometimes some
Mm-hmm.
things just don't ain't meant to be. But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, can you say I exhausted all resources in possible ways?
Mm-hmm.
And hey, you
Mm-hmm.
got something out of, you know, but man,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just one of them ones, man. Like you say, I'm blessed because I'm learning everything firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see this growing up, so I'm having
Mm-hmm.
to figure it out on the go. That's like I got boy number 3 that'll be here in what 2 months.
Oh,
So
we just
now,
breaking
yeah,
news, huh?
look, yeah. So I'm about to be 3
Hey,
boys deep.
hey man,
So
what you doing?
Congratulations, man.
You got three.
look,
Hey,
Congratulations.
you got
look,
3 boys. What you doing right, dog?
hey,
You been praying like
look.
you got 3
3
y'all.
boys. So it'll be
Dang.
Deuce, Eli, and boy number 3 will be Enzo.
Boy, you
You
must be
know,
living right
so
over there.
look, so but it's one of those things, man. It's just like just hoping my story, my journey, the things I've done that I can share with people, man. It's really like you really just gotta stay true to yourself, man.
Mm-hmm.
And don't feel as if you living life under this microscope, bro. And that's why I feel like I've never been in a position to judge people because I got to make sure my stuff right. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why I always say to each his own because I don't know the choices that this person had for the decision that they had to make. And that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of how I look at it, man. It's just like, live your life. Are we going to stumble? Yes. Are we going to fall short? Of course. I can't tell you how to do this perfect and that. I never did it. But what I
Mm-hmm.
can tell you is some of the mistakes I've made, you know, that I've learned from or things that I've done right that seems to work for me. But at the end of the day, you're your own person. You got to see what what works for you, and that's the biggest thing, man. We live in this social media era that where it forces you to compare your day one to somebody day 100, or you feel like
Mm-hmm.
you always competing or you behind. But you got to find out like who you are, what works for you, and how you gonna move forward. That's like me just now retiring. You know, like, okay, it's life after football. What you gonna do? I'm a receivers coach at a private school now, you know, giving back that way. Started my training. Everything that you basically showed me 20 years ago, is how I'm taking care of my family now. You get what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? That's the crazy part. But it's like, how can I keep this going? And it's going
Mm-hmm.
smooth, and it's gonna grow like anything else.
Yeah, well, you the epitome of locker room to reality. We're actually seeing it before our eyes, and so that's why this is a special show, man. And I'm gonna let Jackie take over after this, and
Okay.
it's funny. I'm gonna ask one more question, and I'm gonna let him
Yeah.
wrap it up. But
Okay.
you two are very. I didn't realize your upbringings. You guys are so similar. Just in your single mom, um, you know you know, both have families, and I know, yeah, here again, you're right. When you're not accustomed to seeing being growing up with love, and you grow up, like as you put it, in survival mode, is it is different. It's people, some people wouldn't understand that, but yeah, you have to, it's an adjustment because you're just so used to being around conflict, and here again, survival. And it's so
Yeah.
different, man. And this is my last question, and I'm gonna let Jackie run with it.
Yeah.
It's a perfect segue to just talk about that a little bit. Talk about your childhood upbringing, being raised by a single mom, and how you think it affected you growing up, and still to this day.
Man, you know what? Like even so this is the crazy part. So I was it was my fourth grade year, December 23rd, about 3, 4 in the morning. You hear like sticks breaking, something. My house caught on fire. Christmas Eve,
Mm,
my fourth grade year. I wake up the next day. Well, that was Christmas. My mom bought me this 10-speed bike, man. It was blue, red. The color shifted. My niece had baby dolls. Everything in the house on fire, but the gifts was just smoke damage, so we can still have a Christmas, right? So now I'm in the fourth grade. My auntie lived in Lakewood, Washington, um, out there, Seattle area, Fort Lewis, way West Coast. My mom then went and got a one-way bus ticket. I caught a bus from, down there Bowden Street where Platinum Styles at
yeah,
was the
yeah, I
old
know
Greyhound
the
station.
Greyhound station. Yep, yep.
Yes, I caught a Greyhound from Alexandria, Louisiana to Seattle, Washington by myself.
It's about
It
three
was
days at
20.
9 years old.
Yes, yes, yes. Like I, I went there for fifth, sixth, seventh grade, and that's when I
Oh,
was exposed to like wrestling. I was in the orchestra. I did all that because my mom sent me to her oldest sister, my aunt Sin. So
mm-hmm,
she didn't. They whole thing was we didn't want Manny in the streets, being the next person, out here
mm-hmm,
doing
mm-hmm.
Lord knows. So in the fourth grade, I caught a Greyhound to Seattle. No chaperone, no nothing. That's when I say you grew up off survival, like your instincts
Yes.
kick in. Don't talk to
Mm-hmm,
nobody. When you get to the bus station, read the thing. You know where you switch at, where you gonna go. And I remember them 2.5, 3 days of on that bus, man, and you just ride and having a window seat. And I got to Washington, my fifth grade year, and it was just crazy being raised like my aunt. She put me in all the sports, she did everything. So my eighth grade year, that summer, they was like, we finna take you back to Alexandria to see your mom. But my uncle worked for Boeing and whatnot. We drove to Louisiana, and I was like, let me get all my stuff. That's like, nah, you don't need it. They plan was to never let me come back to Louisiana. But
mm-hmm,
what happened, I knew he had to come back to work. So when they had to leave to drive back to Washington, I was in Samtown at the Boys and Girls Club. So they had to leave without me.
mm-hmm,
Alexandria is small. I was able to start school with no shot records or nothing. That's how I ended
mm-hmm,
up back in Louisiana because I
mm-hmm,
didn't go back to Washington because I was like,
mm-hmm,
I'm not leaving my mom again. But I
mm-hmm,
think those 3, 4 years away, man, just showed me a lot. You talking about calling cards every day on the phone, but it was just like my mom was everything. Because now that I have a family, I still don't know how she did it, like how
mm-hmm,
she make ends. You got to think my mom was basically unemployed, welfare her whole life. I've never seen her work a job, but I never wanted for nothing. You know
mm-hmm,
what? My status of what people would call poor is when I was at my happiest because I didn't know no better. I didn't
mm-hmm,
know I was poor. I didn't
mm-hmm,
know I had less than. And I thought free lunch was for all kids. Summer
mm-hmm.
feed was for all kids. I had a nice pair of shoes on my feet. Then they switched to school uniform. That was even better. I'm either wearing a white shirt with khaki or navy blue pants.
You ain't have to
So
worry
it
about
was
that.
like, right, I'm still out there making twin bikes, raising pit bulls, doing everything that you would think was normal. But it's like as I got older, man, I'm like, bro, like, nah, that ain't it. That ain't the life. Like, nah, I don't know how she made it work having me, my sister. Then she took custody of my niece, and like still to this day, she took custody of my niece kids. So she
Mm,
raising a 7-year-old and 3-year-old kids still to this
mm,
day at the age of 67. But just watching how she just went about her business day to day, man, that junk just happened to where I can never break or can never
mm-hmm,
fold. I don't care how hard times get, how hard times then got. The first person I think about is my mom, because she would tell me I got this or you can do it. And the fact that I've never seen her fold, man, that's how I was able to play through injuries. Get on the phone with her, oh baby, you got it. You're gonna be all right. I'm like, Mom, I'm not all right. I remember I broke my hand in 2009. We in Edmonton. They had the frozen field. They still had grass. People don't know. And in October, that field get hard, man. And along the
mm-hmm,
numbers, man, that mud got like concrete. Went for a deep ball, came down, boxer break, broke my whole thing. I'm like, man, what I'm gonna do? They was like, if you got hurt as a rookie, Wally cut you. So I'm
mm-hmm,
like, man, Billy came to shake my hand. Well, my whole hand was moving. Man, I remember I went home for a week. I cried a whole week because my hand was purple, but I couldn't say, you know what?
mm-hmm,
But I'm like, man, you know what? My mom was like, push through this. And I felt like she was like, she liked them folks, man. She was that machine. She was that person that always made sure things were okay. So for me, coming from a single parent background, not having nothing was like motivation for me. Like
mm-hmm,
I'm happy I had that because it made me who I am now. It wasn't no excuse for me to say, shit, let me go do this and get in trouble because I ain't got no father, or let me feel sorry for myself because I was raised by a woman, or man, I didn't make it out because I didn't have no dad to take me here. That nah, I did everything I did because I was raised by a single parent. You get what I'm saying? So it's
mm-hmm,
like for me, I flipped it and I reversed it. I figured because of my upbringing and situation is what got me the success that I have now. And because of how I was raised, I know how to handle everything now. I can't take nothing for granted because I come from nothing. You get what I'm saying? So I can't
mm-hmm,
have this big head because I had to remain humble. Like,
mm-hmm,
like, 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 it's just crazy how it works. So it's like I can never get ahead of myself because I know where I come from. You get what I'm saying? So it's like the
mm-hmm,
same voice. I can be like, I really was him. I was that dude. I can't do that because I remember, man, you know what? Mom raising money, selling plates and going by barbershops so I can try to pay for training. You get what I'm
mm-hmm,
saying? Like, oh, you know what? I'm finna go blow this bag on this or that. Hey man, shit, I'm still using Pell Grant money just to send moms home. Like, I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you
yeah,
know what, bro? Like, hey, you know what? Let me just leave my house any kind of way. Dang, man, I remember back in the day, partners and them had roaches and stuff. Like I could never just get too far ahead because I know where I come from, and it always remind me, hey man, why are you so damn frugal? This or that. Because man, I didn't have nothing before. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And it's crazy. Like you would think I probably just had a good time all the time. Like I'm low key, I'm chill because I was like, I remember times I couldn't do that. So like
mm,
now it's like go have fun. You know what my fun is? Watching my kids have fun, watching my wife smile and do things. Like I get more out of watching other people enjoy what my career brought them than what it gave me. So like if
mm,
I knew football provided me to go get a home or provided me to be at this event and people that I brought to that event having a good time, that make me happy. Like
mm,
it can be my event and I don't have to do nothing at it. But me
mm,
being able to look around seeing that folks around me enjoying something because of what I was able to achieve, I think that's what makes me happy. And people always be like, you need to get out, you need to do more. But like, all the work I put in is for y'all to enjoy this, not me. Like, I'm good. Like, but it's hard to get people to understand that. But that's how I really am. Like, if I helped you or we grind and we work and you make it, bro, I am happy. Like, cause that's what it's about. Like, I'm happy for other people's success and happy for other people to win. Cause if you let society tell you, man, I was born a loser. Like, I had every statistic not to make it. If you're going off what society says, you get what I'm saying? So
For
it's
sure.
like, it's crazy.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna let Jackie take over, man. I'm sure you got a lot.
Man, I've been over here
That
just
Pell Grant. We were just talking about that Pell Grant money. He used to do the same thing. He sent the Pell Grant money to us.
Hey, man, you were like, man, like you, man, and it's very similar. And I just applaud you, man. I really, really do, because it's like most young men, especially coming out of our communities, didn't think that way. They just didn't think that way. It's a survival. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna go do this. And I was the same way growing up, like single parent home. My mother worked at Burger King, bro, for 20 years, and they fired her because they say she stole $20. You know what I'm saying? My father
Yeah,
he was kind of in the picture, but not really. So the same
yeah,
thing you talk about, like I was a survivor. I just knew I've been pretty much grown since I was 11. So I can totally, totally relate to what you're speaking about. Like you said, the Pell Grant money, Scott know that. I get that little bread, man, I take about 500 out. I'm sending the rest to my mom. I didn't need it. You know what I'm saying? I got my
yeah,
pots in the cot. I got somewhere to stay. I didn't have a car. So I didn't have no responsibilities other than go to school and play football. So trust me,
yeah,
man. When you speak, you speaking to the choir on that. And like you said, even now, I have my mother living with me now because of the sacrifices she made. So, man, I
yeah,
commend you. I commend you. I commend you, man. And I just take my hat off to you for just being steadfast, and like you said, the humility behind it. You know, we had a teammate. He's passed away now, but that was a question Idris asked me one time. Scott, he said, "Why do you work so hard?" I said, "My mom." That was my answer. I didn't have nothing
yeah,
else. My mom. I said, "I got to work so she ain't got to work no more." And so, man, when you speak in such a way, man, it's so powerful, and it's such a blessing to hear, because many people say it, but many people
yeah,
don't do it. You know what I'm saying? People aren't, just forthright to be like, man, because it wasn't about me. You know what I'm saying? I didn't need nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like you stated, like I moved in with my aunt. Well, she wasn't really my aunt, but I called her my Aunt Gwen because I was homeless. She took me in, so when you say that, boy, I get like, man, this is something. Because Scott told us, like, man, you got more in common with him than you realize. So, man, I
yeah,
just applaud you, man. I really, really applaud you. And just for the efforts for your family. Like you speak about your wife, you speak about your kids. That's what matters. Like, really, that's what matters, man. And I commend you, man, tenfold, brother. So keep doing what you're doing. But that leads me to my next question. And for that, man, it's a funny question, but you'll relate because you've touched on it. So
yeah,
next question, we will say, looking back, what advice would you give to young athletes who are aspiring to reach the professional level?
man, man, and man, honestly though, like right now to get it is, man, my big advice to them would be really trust the process. Like when I say trust the process, that's like what you capable of all this, but what are you really going to do? Because right now it's a different era. You know what I'm saying? They
Absolutely.
coming up in a different era, and we say, you know what, this generation soft, or this generation don't want to work no more. But it got to take guys like us that's part of that old school mentality. Iron sharpens iron. And I think, man, if they can trust the process and understand that's everything that comes with it, and being able to run their race, but you have to minimize and eliminate the distractions. It's too many. And now we in this NIL, and it's like the love for the game and the sport, man, is slowly just drifting away. It's like who look the freshest, who's the cleanest, who has this, who has that, to where it's like, man, you got people that give an arm and a leg to be in your situation just to be able to have the opportunity to be able to go professional. You get what I'm saying? Like
Absolutely.
that 100-degree, 2 a day, 3 a day, we're going to work out at 1 o'clock when it's at its hottest. Like that dog mentality is slowly creeping away. But my advice to a young guy, man, is like just put in the work, man. Hard work works. Don't skip that part. Like it's a process and it takes time. And half of the time, if you're not there, you're just not ready yet. But it's like put in the work, man. And I think that's what kind of as I got towards the end of my career, man, and looking around, I'm like, these guys take the game for granted. We out here losing left and right. And it's like nobody cared. Like I talk to Scott, I'm like, bro, this junk draining me because I'm like, it's worse than raising a 5-year-old, man. Like, what are these guys focused? What is their mentality? But that's my advice to a young guy is just, man, trust the process and don't be afraid to put in the work. But you gotta dominate the details and autograph that check, like that body of work. Put your autograph on it. You gotta stamp it. But guys just gotta work, man. And your opportunity, man, I'm waiting on opportunity. Your opportunity is what you're doing while you wait. Because I realize pro sports is all about timing. That's what it is. Your opportunity, you been got the opportunity. It's about timing. Is that phone gonna ring and is somebody gonna call you? And you better stay ready so you don't have to get ready. But a young person, man, just trust the process and stay ready. And I think having a guy like Scott early in my career, man, is crazy because the past 20, 30 years, I've always stayed ready. My phone can ring tomorrow. Hey, I'm going to be ready to play a game next week because that's just my mentality. You give me 3
Right.
days, I'm ready to go play.
Right.
It's like, I've been there, done that. I know what it takes. I know what the grind consists of. But some people don't, and they just think the grind is glamorous. It's this Instagram highlight or this nice, sweet Twitter post. But man, it's them days you waking up, you don't want to. My body aching. I'm really to a point. Do I want to quit? But I gotta keep fighting. You know what? Everything around me is just like chaotic, but I'm in the eye of that, what they say, the little hurricane where
Like the
it's
storm.
calm at. Yeah, like all this crazy going on around me, but can I remain calm? You know, and I think that's what the grind is really about. But nobody wants the chaos. Nobody wants the tugging, the tension. So that's what it's easy to shy away from with this new wave of where the game is going because everything is about get paid, which you know you want that, but at some point the game has to keep its integrity. And I think being one of I came through the era where I went through probably through 2, 3 different phases. You see, like that old school getting into the new old school to man, what this new shit is we doing? Like, what is it? Like, that's what I caught on the tail end out. So I didn't seen the wave from early 2000s to 2024. But I just know, man, for the young guys, man, just keep working. And if football don't work out, let that football been to prepare you mentally, emotionally, and spiritually for this life off the field. And that's what they got to do. What are the life skills you learning while pursuing this football dream? You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the biggest part. And I think that's why mentally my mind's so callous because it's nothing harder than what football done put me through, whether that was preparation to get ready for season, enduring an injury that they say you'll never come back from. It put me in that mindset that, nah, this won't break me. You know what? It might slow me down a little bit, but I'm going to keep moving. But the young guys is just work, man. If you look at all these guys that's playing on Sunday now, the CJ Strouds and all these people, they're going to tell you, man, this guy can work. You know what? He's intelligent. But it's going to always, the common denominator, he's a worker.
The worker.
And that's what it is, the McCaffreys, just all these people, they are a worker, man. You can't get away from that. And if you try to, it'll slowly catch up with you, and you'll be in and out.
Yeah, absolutely, and I couldn't have said it better, man. Me and Scott talk about the process of the NIL, the integrity of the game, and I take nothing away from these young athletes, but
Right,
the mentality, the entitlement, like, man, I don't. It's hard for me to understand, but I respect it. But it is hard
right,
for me to understand because I'm no Dick Buckers or Lawrence Taylor, but my
Mm,
mentality was like that because I'm like, you're not
mm,
gonna beat me. You know what I'm
mm,
saying?
yeah,
You're not gonna beat me. You're not gonna outwork me. You know what I'm saying? Whoever was the best, that's who I wanted to face. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of these guys don't understand challenges. They haven't really been pushed. Unfortunately, in the era that we are in now, a lot of these kids have been pushed through the process. So they expect it. You know what I'm saying?
right,
So I
yeah,
totally agree with you on that, man. And they just kind of, and then some of the parents, unfortunately, are not honest with their children.
right,
They expect Ricky to be this and he the next this, and
yeah,
Ricky can't play dead in the Western with a gun, a knife, and a bottle of poison. You know what I'm saying? But
mm,
yeah,
for them, they think, oh, he's the next best thing. And you're getting kids getting scholarships in 8th grade. Like, how?
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And I take nothing away from the young athletes, but the
right,
development, the mentality, you don't, come on, man. 8th grade, 9th grade, you're receiving full rides, which is
yeah,
great for the
mm,
families. But come on, man. Like,
mm,
I respect it. And I don't want to speak ill about it, but that's just where we are right now for today's time and today's athlete, and for
yeah,
mm,
a lot of the coaches that are in those positions, because I need help right now. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying, for those coaches and stuff. So, man,
right.
I thank you for sharing that. And this will be my last question, man. This will be my last
Okay,
question. My
yeah,
last question. I
nah,
know it's
it's
late,
all good.
but
Yeah,
if you had one single moment to point out in your life, huge impact in your life, what would it be?
huh, man, one moment, man, 2010, 7 seconds on the clock, Western Final. I'm in some Regina. Look like roll out, throw me a Hail Mary ball. I go up and get it to send the game in overtime.
Mm,
I think that moment right there showed me that if it's anything I want to achieve in life, I got to go and get it. And that's
mm,
what I had to do. And that opportunity got me signed to the Minnesota Vikings. That opportunity basically got me being the first time home buyer, first person to get
mm,
married, first person to have a family, first person, you know what I'm saying, own a vehicle, first person traveling internationally, first person, a lot of stamps in my passport, first person, dog, just doing everything first person. That what that moment taught me, man, is that I belong. Because until then, I really didn't know. People talking NFL talk, they talking all this and that. Like, I didn't made it to where I was at. But that moment right then and there, 50,000, about 0 degrees. It was cold, and everything just got quiet. And I remember, man, we dropped back. Lule throw that thing. We down. It was 20-27. Matter of fact, 7 seconds on the clock. I actually looked at that clip the other day. I just go
mhm.
up, grab the ball, silence everybody. But I was
Left
like, man,
sideline.
yeah, yeah. I was like,
Left
that
sideline.
moment
I
right
remember.
there. I was
Climb
like,
that
that
ladder,
moment.
baby. Climb that
Look,
ladder, man.
that moment right there, man, I think, man, speaks volume, because right then and there, it just showed me, man, because people talk NFL, and if you don't get drafted, you don't know what your chances are of getting to the
Absolutely.
Mhm,
NFL. You know what I'm saying? But when that talk came, and I'm sitting at Peabody Gym at a Kappa League basketball game, George Payton them called, man, we want to sign to the Minnesota Vikings. This gonna be your signing bonus, this and that. Man, I had to go buy me a honey bun and some Doritos and really soak that in. Like, hey
Let
yeah.
that
man, you
moment
finna
sit
go,
on you for a
like,
second.
yeah, like you finna really be
Absolutely.
in the
Boy, he said
NFL.
so. Honey bun and
Honey,
Yeah,
Doritos.
buddy.
look, yeah,
Take a
honey
little
bun and
break. Let me see. Let
yeah,
this sink
like.
in on me, man.
Yeah, that
Absolutely.
moment, that moment had to sit in. But going up there, and I remember looking Lule in his eyes, man, and Lule, my guy, man. If there was no Lule, there wouldn't be no me. And he just threw
Mm,
that ball up, and I went and got it. And like Lule, like a brother, man, a guy. Man, shoot, I probably ask Lule for advice before I ask God for advice. That's
Mm,
how
mm,
much trust in that, how good of a person Lule was, man. At a
mm,
critical point of my career through my early 20s, pretty much all the way to what, 28, from 2009 to 2018. Lule
mm,
was my guy, but that
mm,
one moment, man, I think defined a lot because it's one of those like Hail Mary. You see them on TV, you see guys catch them. What's the chances of you doing that? And I was at a
mm,
point in my life like, where will football take me next? My body was beat up at the end of the year, man. I really couldn't do them NFL workouts, but they want to see you anyway. And it was
mm,
just like one of those chances Minnesota took on me. But being able to go make that play, just that was the confidence I needed to know, you know what, man, you can do anything you put your mind to. But that was one of my biggest moments, I think, throughout my whole career. That was bigger than me knowing my first game active was against the New Orleans Saints. I'm on the front line on KOR, ready to make a play. Like palms sweating, like, boy, it's sold out in this dome
mm,
almost. Like,
mm,
but that moment, man, meant a lot to me because I think that just kind of set the tone for how I'm about to live life right now. Because that was my ticket. That catch
mm,
was my ticket. And even if
mm,
Minnesota didn't sign me, that was my ticket. You know what? I'm finna have a good day in the CFL right now.
mm.
Because I was
Yeah.
like, I was young, I was upcoming, and I always been consistent since I stepped foot in 2009. There has been no drop off. Rolled and changed, but I played the game away like, you know what? How can we get this guy out of here and run him out of this CFL? Because if he have his way, he gonna keep coming back, and he gonna make it hard for us to deny him. And that's how I
Mm,
always looked at it. Coach Stu say, make their job hard, RC. Make their
mm,
job hard where they can't get rid of you.
mm. There it
Yeah.
is. Mm,
God, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you something. Hey man, we got many more, but Doc, this has been an absolute barn burner right here, Doc.
oh
Your
Yeah.
yeah.
information, your poise, man, your story, your journey, man. I promise you, like, I literally look like I'm looking myself in the mirror. I'm
Mm,
not
Yeah.
joking. Like, talking to you, I'm
Yeah.
just like, wow, man. And I'm not saying this just because, man, but your ability to be present. See, many people can't do that. To be present in everything that you've been a part of, whether it was like you said, in that moment, because it didn't take you a long time to think of that moment.
mm,
It didn't take you a long time to think of your family. It didn't take you a long time to think of your wife, your kids, things that are important. So to be present is so invaluable. You
mm,
see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
Yeah.
so I just commend you, man, from me to you. I've never met you. I've had a lot of bouts, but I am grateful for this opportunity to meet you, to speak with you, to have this opportunity to share your story, to be a part of what we're doing. But man, you have etched something in me where I'm gonna have to look myself in the mirror in the morning.
yeah.
You know what I'm
Same.
saying?
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
being
Yes.
honest with you because
Yeah.
um as you get a little older, I'm a little older, I don't work out like I should. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You get the little dad bob and all that. So I ain't quite there yet. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I want to get there. But just hearing your testimony, hearing your story, hearing your purpose, man, I appreciate you sharing that with me. And for
Thanks,
the
man.
people who will hear it, man, because your story is going to help somebody. It helped me tonight just to know somebody else understood how to do it the right way. Does
Mm-hmm.
that make sense?
Yeah.
Like you could have chose like, and Scott been with me for a long time. Just like we was in school, Scott. I didn't hang with nobody. When I got to school, I didn't fool with nobody. I was a no nonsense guy because of my environment that I grew up in. I had to be,
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody says certain things to me or looked at me a certain way, I go in survival mode. Like you said, like it's certain things you say to me, you look at me, that could be my life taken in some cases. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I really didn't fool with a lot of people. And just to know that it's kind of the same thing, the same areas, the same environment, the same people. Because what I tell people all the time, the same thing go on in your house, go on in mine. Now, whether you want to share it or not, that's up to you. But It's
Yeah.
no one out here that's not going through something. So,
Right.
man, I just I applaud you. Please, man, please keep sharing your story. Keep being who you are.
Yeah.
I'm elated, Scott. I'm not joking, bro. I'm
Yeah,
like,
no,
I'm blown away.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
joking. And
yeah.
I'm grateful, and I can't say enough, man. I just thank you for your transparency. And we speak about this all the time: the vulnerability, the transparency, but the humility of showing the world who you are. Because many people won't know this, because we have that helmet on. That's all they see. They don't get to
Mhm.
Yeah.
meet Mr. Arceneaux. They don't get to meet Mr. Clothing. They didn't get to meet Mr. Mitch. Like you said, the stats and stuff speak for themselves, but the person you are, man, it speaks
Yeah.
volume, man. I just really, really thank you for that opportunity, man, to
Yeah.
speak that.
Mhm.
Appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Scott, you want to say some
Yeah.
words?
Yeah, but before before we wrap it up here, tell everybody what's your social media handles,
Oh,
man.
it's Manny Show 84. MANNY Show SHOW 84, and that's on all platforms, Twitter, Instagram, all the stuff that people use. Oh yeah,
Mhm.
TikTok too, but that's just workout stuff. But it's all Manny Show 84, and I keep it simple, keep it under that. Even my website is the same
Mhm.
thing, just mannyshow.com. Just
Yep.
drop the 84, mannyshow.com for
Mhm.
information on there. But all my social media handles is Manny Show 84.
Definitely, man. And before we wrap it up, we're gonna leave y'all with this two nuggets that stood out from this episode. Another beautiful episode, Dreams
Absolutely.
podcast. I'm blown away. But if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready, and it's not what you're capable of, it's what you're willing to do. Hey, we're gonna leave y'all with that. And we're gonna sign off, man. And hey, y'all stay blessed. And hey man, appreciate you coming on. I know time is very valuable, and we don't take that lightly, man.
Thank y'all.
And we appreciate you coming on again, man. That was awesome.
Man, I
Absolutely.
appreciate y'all boys, man. Thank you
Absolutely.
a lot.
Yeah.
Fellas.
Thank you
All
much.
right.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.